Ready for a weather whiplash? Weather update American cities number 127. Ready for a weather whiplash? Get ready because winter is about to pull a fast one on the entire country. A massive shift in the jet stream is creating a wild tale of two completely different weather stories. While one half of the United States, particularly the west and the central regions, is about to experience a surge of record-shattering warmth, the other half is bracing for the exact opposite. A powerful, bone-chilling Arctic blast is descending right now, promising a weekend of dramatic and potentially dangerous weather for millions. This intense Arctic blast is set to make its grand entrance this weekend, sweeping ferociously through the Ohio Valley and down the East Coast. As this frigid air plummets southward, temperatures will take a nosedive, creating the perfect conditions for snow. This isn't just a light dusting we're talking about. There's a real risk of heavy, impactful snowfall for a huge swath of the population, with places like Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and even North Carolina right in the crosshairs for a significant winter event. But flip the map over and you'll see a completely different reality unfolding. A vast plume of warm, almost tropical moisture is being pulled north across the central and western United States. This will lead to widespread, record-breaking temperatures that will feel more like spring than the middle of winter. This warmth isn't just a pleasant surprise. It carries with it some serious long-term implications for severe weather down the road. This pattern is setting up a major atmospheric battleground. And believe me, this weather story is far from over. Don't skip this part. Late next week, we're going to witness a powerful and dramatic clash between these two opposing forces: the bitter Arctic cold and the unseasonable tropical warmth. This collision is going to set the stage for even more winter weather, with a high probability of significant snowfall across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. So let's break down exactly what you need to know about this major pattern change that is about to rock the nation. Over the next few days, we are going to watch this absolutely bonkers weather pattern continue to evolve, especially when it comes to the temperatures. Right now, a mass of Arctic air is gathering its strength over the Great Lakes and Canada, just waiting for the signal to unleash its fury down into the East Coast and the Northeast. On the complete flip side, a huge ridge of high pressure is building, pumping incredibly warm air across the Great Plains and all the way back to the West Coast this weekend. For many of you on the East Coast, that warmth is just a dream. You're not going to be so fortunate because a very significant Arctic blast is arriving tonight and into tomorrow, covering the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. We're talking about temperatures falling by as much as a staggering 40 degrees in some spots. This isn't just chilly. This is dangerous cold on the way for the weekend. And to top it all off, there is a very real possibility of some heavy, disruptive snow in some locations. As we head into Sunday, that Arctic air mass will have a firm grip on basically the entire East Coast, locking it in a deep freeze. Meanwhile, that incredibly warm air will just keep building and expanding across the Midwest, the Great Plains, and the West Coast. Then, as we get into the beginning and middle of next week, the Arctic air finally gets shoved offshore. From that point on, the heat is just going to explode across the central United States, creating a truly remarkable February heat wave. This massive buildup of warmth could open the door for a major storm system to develop and eject over the Rocky Mountains by the middle of next week. That scenario could allow for a return of severe weather, like thunderstorms and even tornadoes, and possibly bring more snow chances. We could see snow as far south as Kansas, Arkansas, and even Tennessee. We're definitely not ruling that out right now. It's just going to depend on how these incredibly different air masses evolve and interact with each other. Looking even further ahead into the middle of February, things get a lot more uncertain, as they often do in long-range forecasting. However, I have a strong feeling that at some point we are going to see another pretty significant Arctic blast unleash itself upon the country. Exactly when that happens is still up in the air. The behavior of the polar vortex will be the key driver, and right now, I'm leaning toward the third week of February as the most likely time frame for that next big cold snap to arrive. So let's talk about the actual temperature difference you're going to feel. As we go into Saturday morning, there will be a widespread area with temperatures plummeting to as low as 30 degrees below normal. This bitter cold will be felt all across Pennsylvania, Maryland, and even as far south as South Carolina. By Sunday and Monday, that Arctic air is just going to sit and fester in the Northeast, bringing dangerous and even life-threatening cold to the table, especially with the added wind chill factor. Then, the script completely flips by Monday and Tuesday when we start talking about a significant heat wave. Just look at the forecast for Monday. We're going to have areas in Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota with temperatures soaring to almost 40 degrees above average. That is just absolutely insane for the month of February, especially considering the brutal cold and major winter storms that many of these same areas have endured over the last few weeks. It's a true case of weather whiplash on a national scale. And by the middle and end of next week, we could see a secondary, weaker Arctic air mass make its way across the Great Lakes and the East Coast. This one, as of now, does not look to be nearly as potent as the one we're getting this weekend, but it could still be accompanied by some snow chances, so it's something we'll need to watch closely. This winter has been a relentless back-and-forth pattern, and it doesn't look like it's going to let up anytime soon. You have to be ready for anything. For today, the high temperatures are phenomenal if you're lucky enough to be near the Gulf Coast or in the southern plains, with many areas enjoying the 70s and even pushing toward 80 degrees. But look at that little swirl of cold up in Canada on the weather maps. That right there is the Arctic blast, coiled and ready to strike the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. Temperatures on Saturday and Sunday are going to absolutely plummet, with many areas dropping below zero, accompanied by that threat of snow. Then, by late Sunday and into Monday, that cold air will still be lingering up north, but the big story will be the warmth exploding across the Great Plains. Monday is going to be crazy warm, with places like Des Moines, Iowa, potentially reaching near 70 degrees, which is just unbelievably abnormal for this time of year. This warmth is going to stick around through Tuesday and Wednesday, and it will definitely break a ton of long-standing temperature records for the month of February. This is a very rare winter pattern that we just don't see that often. Over in the Carolinas, it's a similar story of extremes. Places like Raleigh, North Carolina, which saw significant snowfall just a few days ago, are now looking at temperatures climbing all the way to near 67 degrees. It's a real head spinner. Then, by the end of the week, we'll likely have another cold front that will stretch down into the southeast, keeping the entire East Coast below average while the heat holds on out west. On top of all this temperature madness, we have at least 2 different snow threats to deal with over the next 7 days. The first one is happening today. We already have light to moderate snowfall spreading across the Midwest, into the Great Lakes, and the Northeast. We're even seeing some pockets of moderate to heavy snow, and there's a risk of snow squalls today. Those are intense, localized bursts of heavy snow that can cause visibility to drop to near zero in a matter of seconds. If you are traveling today anywhere across the Ohio Valley, you need to be on high alert for those rapidly changing conditions. By late tonight and into early tomorrow morning, we will see very heavy snowfall developing, especially in the Appalachian Mountains near places like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. These are some of the locations that could easily see their snow totals push past 4 or even 5 inches. Some of the higher elevations in the Appalachian Mountains could actually get closer to a foot of snow from this event. Now, this Arctic blast is also going to be accompanied by very significant and gusty winds as we go into late tonight and tomorrow. This is a critical point, don't miss this. These winds could create blizzard conditions for parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, even without exceptionally heavy snow. The blowing and drifting of the snow that falls will make travel incredibly dangerous. This will be most impactful for Pennsylvania and New Jersey, where some areas already have over a foot of snow on the ground. If you are traveling at any point tomorrow, this is definitely something that you need to be paying close attention to, as blowing snow will be a serious possibility. The strong winds will reach into New England late tomorrow night and into Sunday, with gusts whipping around at 30, 40, or even 50 miles per hour. This windy and bitterly cold pattern will linger into late Sunday and early Monday, before finally starting to taper off on Monday and Tuesday all across the East Coast. It's a weekend to hunker down. While this first wave won't be a blockbuster snowstorm for everyone, it will still have a major impact. We're expecting a widespread coating to 3 inches for most of New England. Areas like western New York, which are used to lake-effect snow, could easily pick up closer to 4 or 5 inches. And right there in the heart of the Appalachian Mountain Range, there will be some specific locations that push towards official winter storm criteria, with some warnings already in effect for 8 to 10 inches of fresh powder.